Do 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 do. Now, I gotta say this, in terms of the picture quality, oh, what a revelation. No, I didn't just jizz in my pants, but very close. Now, this is a Blu-ray release from 2007, so this is when Blu-ray was barely a year old, and we get this release. And this should be the standard by which all others are judged. This conclusively shows just how good older films can look on Blu-ray. It is just phenomenal. You know, you've heard me rant about DNR, digital noise reduction, and you've heard me rant about film grain and how film grain should be left alone because that's part of the natural texture and look of film. Not to mention the fact that the film grain is what gives you the fine detail in a film image. You know, fine detail, that thing you bought high definition for in the first place. Yeah, you use excessive digital noise reduction to scrub that away. You're scrubbing away the detail. There's just no way to remove the grain from a film image and keep the detail. It is not possible. It will never be possible, so don't kid yourself into thinking that it will be. Grain on a film image is supposed to be there. That said, Close Encounters is beautifully grainy. Now, it's not excessively grainy. It's grainy the way it should be. It's grainy in the way the film is grainy, okay? It is good. That is supposed to be there. That is the way it would have looked in the theater when you saw it, and that is the way it is presented on Blu-ray. The difference being, it is one hell of a clean print. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find any flaws in this thing. I mean, it is just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous to look at. I mean, seriously, you look at how clean this image is and how full of detail it is. It could have been filmed yesterday. It's that good. You look on all the review sites, see what they say about Close Encounters, and they agree unanimously. This is as good as it gets. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. So, if you're looking for a great show-off disc of an older movie, you know, that doesn't have that clean, sterile digital look, but just that beautiful texture of film that, you know, film connoisseurs like myself and Stoudman and a lot of other people I know just love, and is why we bought Blu-ray in the first place. Get Close Encounters. You will absolutely 100% not be disappointed. It is beautiful. Now, in terms of the audio options, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Hold on a second. It's on the back of the box. Nearsighted. Audio options, yeah. Those of you hoping for the original stereo mix will be disappointed. I mean, you never get that anymore. And it's just, we live in a surround sound world, and so we only get surround sound tracks. But oddly, a lot of times when a movie has a mono mix, they'll throw in the mono mix, but not the stereo. I don't understand why that is. Anyway, what we have here is an English DTS HD 5.1 track and an English Dolby True HD 5.1 track, and then you got Spanish and French in True HD 5.1 Dolby Digital as well. Then in terms of subtitles, you got English, and then you got the more descriptive English for the especially hard of hearing, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, Thai, Korean, and Arabic. So yeah, I think we're pretty well covered there. Yeah, I have to say, I had not seen Close Encounters in a long time. I had forgotten just how good a film it is. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's almost 2.5 hours long, but it really does not feel like it. Who was I talking to? Somebody who said, yeah, you're right, it didn't feel like 2.5 hours, it felt more like 90 minutes, you know, like it feels a lot shorter than it is. I mean, obviously it feels like you're watching a movie, I mean, it's a movie, but it really flies by. I mean, I had always sort of remembered it as being this really slow-paced movie, but it really isn't. It's actually very fast-paced, and there's a lot of running around, and there's like UFOs all over the place, and there's just all this craziness and chaos throughout it until it finally culminates in this just beautiful final act. And it's just a wonderful film. The other thing that really struck me about it is just how good the special effects are. I mean, they really do hold up well. There's a couple of instances where you can see some matte lines, but you forgive that because it's just a product of the time. All else considered, the effects are damn good. Especially, there's some scenes where there's UFOs flying down the highway at night. I mean, they look fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Just beautiful light ships floating along and zooming along and freaking out the humans watching. But you know, I really miss films like this and this era where you would look at a movie like this and be left scratching your head wondering how the heck they did have the special effects. You know, you'd be like, how did they do that? That looked amazing. And you try to wrap your head around it, but you just couldn't figure it out a lot of the time. Or if you did, you'd have sort of a passing familiarity with composite photography or whatnot. But even then, it's ridiculously complex. And, you know, doing optical printing and layers upon layers upon layers of matting and whatnot. And it's just, it's a crazily complex and time-consuming process. And, of course, now with digital, it makes it a lot easier. But in a lot of ways, it just doesn't look as good. You know? And now, you watch this and tell me that the majority of the effects in this don't hold up. I mean, come on. The effects in this are fantastic. What more can I say? Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 30th Anniversary Ultimate Edition Blu-ray. It needs to be in your Blu-ray collection. Well, unless you don't like it for some reason. In which case, you know, you're insane. Because it's a beautiful film. Ooh, I almost forgot to mention the price. Yeah, we're sort of doing a theme, weren't we? Sort of, let's go from the most expensive to the least expensive. How much was this? Well, it used to go for about 40 bucks. But I actually picked this up. Apparently it's been marked down, and the new regular price is $20.99. Not too shabby. So a little bit less than Grindhouse, but, you know, collectively speaking, more content. Because, I mean, you got 3 movies on here, essentially. Now, I was going to mention also the second disc is nothing but extras. You've got a new interview with Steven Spielberg where he talks about putting together the director's cut. And then you've got a 1997 for the, I guess, 20th anniversary documentary, and it's a huge documentary. It's almost 2 hours long, which interviews all the principal cast and crew, all about the making of the movie. That one is in standard def. The new interview is high def. Then you got the original trailers, I think, and you got a 1977 featurette called Watch the Skies, which is about the making of it. You got a whole bunch of deleted scenes, which are actually really interesting to see. I mean, and these are proper deleted scenes. These aren't just extended versions of scenes in the movie. Yeah, this is stuff that you've never seen before, so that's really cool. Yeah, and then the aforementioned view from above pop-up fact information about the different cuts, and then, of course, the poster. And you've also got a photo gallery, which I haven't actually really looked at much, and storyboard to scene comparisons. So, very cool edition indeed, and a heck of almost a steal at 20 bucks. I mean, to get that level of quality and that amount of content for 20 bucks, that's freaking awesome. So, yeah. Well recommended, Stoud. I'm having a blast with this set, and I can't wait to dive into more of it. Alrighty. Well, tomorrow we will continue on with the Blu-ray updates. I actually have a couple more because I received one in the mail from an old friend of mine who wishes to remain anonymous, so I of course will respect that. Sort of an early Christmas gift. So yeah, so I only had one more to talk about, but now I've got 2. So probably be a couple more parts to this update, because the next one I've got a fair amount to say as well. There's a lot to talk about. Alrighty, that's it from me to you for now, so until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara. And then you got Spanish and French in true HD. You got English with descriptive audio for the hard of hearing. Like I said, I mean, these, like I sort of touched on before, I mean, these sort of movies from this era, it's just... But I really miss the days of movies like this, before the days of computer graphics and doing everything. What can I say? What more can I say? Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 30th Anniversary Special Edition Blu-ray. It needs to be in your Blu-ray edition. The next one I've actually got a fair amount to say